The renowned Stoic philosopher Epictetus once remarked, "The key is to associate only with individuals who elevate you and bring out the best in you." You might be familiar with the idea that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today, we will delve into this concept through a Stoic perspective. We'll explore 7 types of people who can hinder your progress in Stoic philosophy and discuss strategies for managing these challenging relationships. Before we dive in, I'd be grateful if you could like this video to help me continue spreading Stoic philosophy. If you're not yet subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the bell to ensure you don't miss any of my content. Type of people to avoid. #1. The complainer. First up, the complainer. We all know someone, a friend, family member, or colleague, who seems to find fault with everything, whether it's the weather, their job, or even a popular restaurant. They never miss a chance to voice their dissatisfaction. You might wonder, why should this bother me? I can just ignore them. However, that's easier said than done. Constant exposure to such negativity can drain your mental well-being, much like a leaky faucet slowly emptying your reservoir of emotional energy. Stoicism teaches us to focus on actionable solutions rather than dwelling on problems. For instance, if you're working on a project with someone who is a chronic complainer, each meeting can become a draining session of grievances without constructive dialogue. This can lead to decreased team morale, sidetrack you from finding solutions, and make you increasingly disillusioned with the project, and perhaps even life in general. So, how can Stoicism help manage a complainer? You can start by limiting your exposure to them whenever possible. If that's not feasible, perhaps because they're a family member or colleague, consider mentally distancing yourself during their rants. View their complaints as a passing storm, loud and unsettling, but ultimately temporary and powerless against your inner tranquility. Another approach is to redirect the conversation towards solutions or change the subject to something more constructive. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This timeless wisdom encourages us to protect our mental peace diligently, ensuring that chronic complainers don't steer us away from our Stoic path of resilience and virtue. Type of people to avoid. #2. The drama magnet. Next, the drama magnet. Picture navigating your life as if steering a ship through calm waters, only to encounter the whirlpool known as the drama magnet. This person seems to have a never-ending series of crises and conflicts, drawing you into their chaotic vortex. Initially, you might be drawn to their dramatic energy, mistaking it for passion or excitement. But soon, you'll realize that being in their sphere is like navigating a storm, exhausting and perilous. What makes drama magnets challenging is that their crises can often feel like your own. Their chaos is infectious, and you might find yourself caught up in conflicts that you had no part in originally. For example, if a friend frequently falls out with others in your social circle, today with Sarah, tomorrow with Tom, and seeks your advice, you might end up at odds with Sarah or Tom yourself, simply because you tried to mediate. To deal with a drama magnet, one strategy is reflective listening. Instead of offering advice or picking sides, mirror their words back to them. If they say, "I can't believe Sarah said that about me," you could respond, "So you feel betrayed by Sarah's words." This approach provides emotional support without getting entangled in the drama. Another method is to become selectively unavailable. Stoicism teaches us to value our time highly, which sometimes means being unavailable for others' recurring crises. Turn off your phone during focus periods, let others know you're not to be disturbed during certain times, and concentrate on your work or personal development. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This is especially helpful when dealing with drama magnets. Instead of worrying about the next crisis, focus on the present moment where you have control. Ensure that your life is not disrupted by someone else's drama. Keep your ship steady, steering clear of whirlpools that threaten your journey toward personal growth and tranquility. Type of people to avoid. #3. The naysayer. Third, the naysayer. Imagine you're an artist adding color and depth to your canvas, only for the naysayer to walk in, scrutinize your work, and start critiquing. Are you sure about that color? It doesn't look realistic. Most artists never succeed, they say. Their words act like strokes of gray paint, dulling your vibrant canvas. This isn't typical constructive criticism. but a persistent aura of doubt and negativity. For example, if you're excited about pursuing a new career and have done your research and preliminary coursework, a naysayer might quickly point out reasons it won't work out. The market is too competitive. Do you have the right skills? What if you fail? Their doubts can start to feel like your own, shaking your self-assured vision. How should you handle a naysayer, especially if they're close to you? One unconventional but effective approach is to ask them for advice rather than just sharing your plans. When people are put in an advisory role, they're less likely to attack your ideas outright and may offer more constructive feedback. Another method is positive confrontation. Challenge them to think of solutions instead of absorbing their negativity. If they say, "You'll never switch careers at this stage," you counter with, "Interesting perspective. How do you think someone could successfully make a career change?" This approach deflects negativity and fosters a more constructive conversation. Remember Epictetus' words, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening doesn't mean absorbing everyone's negativity, but discerning valuable input from mere noise. When naysayers start to cloud your canvas with doubt, step back, listen, reflect, and continue painting your life with the colors that resonate with you. Don't let anyone turn your vibrant masterpiece into a dull gray landscape. Type of people to avoid. #4. The victim. 4th. The victim. Imagine life as a game of chess where everyone has the same pieces and goal to checkmate the opponent's king. You strategize, make sacrifices, and take risks, while the victim blames the board, the pieces, or their opponent for every poor move they make. They're perpetually in checkmate, not due to their choices, but because of some external force working against them. Their narrative is a continuous tale of woe, with themselves cast as the helpless protagonist. "I can't advance in my job because my boss dislikes me," or "I can't get fit due to bad genetics." It's important to note that while some people face real hardships and systemic issues, the victim uses their predicament as a permanent excuse, refusing to take responsibility for their actions or lack thereof. You might find yourself caught up in their storyline, perhaps as the supporting character who constantly needs to rescue them. For example, if you spend countless hours listening to a friend blame their failed relationships on their ex-partners, it can not only drain your time, but also subtly encourage you to adopt a similar victim mindset. So, how should you handle a victim? It might be tempting to try to rescue them with endless advice and emotional support, but Stoicism advises against this. Instead, draw firm boundaries to protect your own mental state. Employ compassionate detachment, show empathy and kindness, but don't try to rescue them from situations they need to navigate themselves. Offer a listening ear, but refrain from becoming their perpetual problem solver. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." If you find yourself drawn into the victim's narrative, resist becoming one yourself. Take control of your own game board, make your moves, and remember that in the chess game of life, being perpetually in checkmate is often a choice, not a fate. Keep your pieces moving forward, make strategic sacrifices when necessary, and play not for revenge or pity, but for growth and wisdom. Type of people to avoid. #5. The toxic positivist. 5th. The toxic positivist. You know this person, always radiating sunshine, rainbows, and endless emojis, telling you to just be happy when you're going through a tough time, dismissing your feelings with a wave of glittery optimism. Imagine your life as a garden with flowers, but also weeds and pests. A toxic positivist insists on ignoring anything that isn't a blooming rose. Got aphids on your leaves? Just focus on the flowers and don't let negativity into your garden, they'd say. While this may sound uplifting, their approach can make you feel invalidated and disconnected from reality. For example, if you're navigating a tough breakup and seeking emotional balance, the toxic positivist might advise, "There are plenty of fish in the sea, just smile and be happy." This excessive positivity overlooks the complexity of human emotions and life's challenges. How do you tend your garden without letting the toxic positivist trample it with their one-sided optimism? One strategy is to engage them in a discussion that acknowledges both light and shadow. If they say, "Look on the bright side, at least you have your health," you could respond, "Yes, I'm grateful for my health, but it's also okay for me to feel upset about this specific issue." Both can coexist. You can also practice emotional granularity, the ability to feel and differentiate between a wide range of emotions, both positive and negative. When the toxic positivist urges you to just be happy, take a moment to acknowledge and label your nuanced feelings. For instance, "I'm feeling a bit melancholic today due to X, and that's okay," can be a liberating affirmation. Reflecting on Seneca's wisdom, true happiness is to understand our duties toward God and man, and to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This balance of understanding duties and enjoying the present is crucial. Stoicism isn't about focusing solely on the positive or negative, but embracing life's complexity with equanimity. So, when the toxic positivist sprinkles their confetti on your garden, step back. Remember that a garden needs both sunshine and rain to flourish, and continue nurturing your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves. Type of people to avoid. #6. The manipulator. 6th, the manipulator. Picture your life as a movie script where you're the main character with a vision of how your story should unfold. The twists, allies, mentors, and final act. Enter the manipulator, the shadowy producer who subtly rewrites your script without you even realizing it until your storyline veers off course. The manipulator excels in emotional or psychological maneuvering, using flattery, guilt, or deceit to direct you in a way that benefits them. For example, a friend might always manage to get you to pay for dinner by saying, "I've been having a rough month and you're so successful. It wouldn't mean much to you, but would make my day better." Over time, you may find your generosity exploited, but confronting them feels uncomfortable because it's framed as a favor to a friend in need. To handle a manipulator, you can use a technique called fogging. Agree with any truth in their statements, but resist being swayed by emotional coercion. If they say, "You're so successful, you should cover dinner," you could respond, "You're right that I've been doing well, but let's split the bill as we usually do." Another approach is to set clear boundaries and enforce them. If the manipulator asks you to lend money or commit to tasks you're uncomfortable with, learn to say no assertively. Keep your tone calm and your words clear. "I can't lend money, but I'm here to offer emotional support." Drawing from Stoic thought, Epictetus warned that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose our responses. Manipulators thrive on predictable reactions, so by responding differently, you regain control of your script. Remember, you hold the pen. Your storyline is yours to write. Don't let anyone manipulate your life's narrative. Type of people to avoid. #7. The time vampire. Finally, the time vampire. Imagine your daily routine as a carefully crafted symphony, with each instrument representing a task or commitment. The time vampire, however, screeches off-key, disrupting your melody and turning your harmonious composition into discordant noise. The time vampire isn't necessarily malicious. They might seem benign, like a colleague who constantly interrupts with trivial questions, or a friend who invites you to numerous social events, draining your time and energy. These interruptions might seem minor individually, but their cumulative effect can be profoundly disruptive. To protect your symphony from being ruined by a time vampire, consider using the Pomodoro technique. Break your work into intervals, typically 25 minutes, followed by short breaks. During these intervals, make it clear that you're not to be disturbed. This method sets boundaries to protect your most productive periods. If dealing with a social time vampire, remember that saying no is crucial for your well-being. Instead of offering elaborate excuses, a simple "I appreciate the invite, but I can't make it" is sufficient. Declining an invitation isn't a rejection of the person, but an affirmation of your own needs and priorities. Seneca wisely stated, "Life, if well lived, is long enough." Stoicism teaches us that time is one of our most precious resources, which should be allocated wisely. It's the canvas for painting the portrait of our lives. Be selective about who and what deserves your time. Ensure that each note, instrument, and melody in your life aligns with your greater purpose. Don't let the disruptive intrusion of a time vampire throw your symphony into disarray. Conduct your life with purpose, ensuring that every moment is a well-played note in your harmonious masterpiece. Reflection upon ourselves. As we conclude today's exploration of individuals who can derail our path towards Stoic resilience and wisdom, let's not forget the importance of self-awareness. It's easy to identify these types in others, but the more challenging and enlightening task is to examine ourselves. Are you perhaps unintentionally playing one of these roles in someone else's life? Remember, Stoicism isn't just about navigating the world, it's also about understanding and improving ourselves. If today's discussion has sparked any realizations, epiphanies, or even just a bit of introspection, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Share your thoughts, experiences, and let's engage in a dialogue that enriches us all. Until next time, may your choices align with your virtues. May your actions reflect your wisdom, and may your life be the masterpiece you're destined to create.